Hi, I'm Sarah Lacy. Welcome to TechCrunch TV. I'm joined by Joe Fernandez, who's the founder and CEO of Klout. And so you announced funding this morning, and then Groupon raises $1 billion. I
know.
And then Square raises a huge round with a $240 million valuation.
Right.
I mean, you guys got a little avalanche today.
Yeah, I like to think we kicked it off, and I'm also just glad we were the first ones out of the gate.
Right.
But I think, the holidays and everyone, there's kind of pent up demand on PR.
So you guys were like some of these other guys in that a lot of these deals were actually done over the holidays when the Valley was really quiet.
Right.
So did you have much of a Christmas, or were you negotiating things? And
we had finished right before Christmas, so it was actually really nice Christmas. Like
you're not gonna have money.
I know, it was got to actually catch your breath for a second, but also exciting in the sense we knew, now we're a Kleiner Perkins company. We're setting ourselves up for really aggressive goals and really aggressive growth. What does that mean? So the management team all actually stayed here in town, and we got some time to spend together and plan out what 2011 is going to be like.
So you say Kleiner Perkins company. It's funny because you're so young, and when I first moved here, being a Kleiner Perkins company was like gold. I mean, it was the standard. Even Sequoia was, below that in some circles. And you haven't heard that a lot until recently, when Kleiner has made this onslaught to become, the biggest player in web again. And we hear reports about John Doerr just being a mad dog, going after things like Twitter and I will get this deal, and being aggressive. And they've got the I fund and the S fund and all these things. So what does it mean to you to be a Kleiner Perkins company, not having sort of that whole background?
Yeah, that background kind of missed me, and I'm not from the Valley and never worked at actually any of the startups or Google or anywhere. So I didn't really come in with too many preconceived notions. But after spending some time with those guys and sitting around the table with them and hearing the way they think about the social web in general and the chemistry between where we thought Klout fit in around that, it was clear that there's something behind that folklore. And while it may not have been outwardly as in everyone's faces it had been in the past, it didn't take long before being in their office, we got super excited. Not from the name, but from the value, in the conversations we were having.
And your other investor is a firm called Croft, and I think me and everyone else have to look down before saying it, because it's too similar to Greylock, which we're all used to saying.
Yeah.
Tell us about Croft. They're not exactly a household name in the Valley.
Yeah, because they're not here. They're in New York and LA. Alan Patricoff is managing partner, big history in New York. Just super connected in the brand and agency world, and really savvy around Twitter and Buddy Media's in the portfolio, and Adley, and a bunch of these companies that got that connection between brands and social media really early. So for us, having somebody in New York who could kind of fly the flag for us and represent us to agencies there and make introductions was such a powerful compliment to Kleiner Perkins here in the Valley, where you get kind of that stamp of approval and for the recruiting pipeline and all those things.
You've gone from old school to really pretty crazy new. Even a lot of people doing rounds now don't feel like it's important at your stage of company to have representation in New York. So it's you've kind of gone the old school route and the very new school route in one round.
I started Klout in New York, and in the we haven't exactly been focused on revenue, but we have got a lot of interest from brands, and that all happens pretty much in New York. So, and actually more than half of our angels were in New York already. So it just kind of made sense to us to keep that strong presence out there.
So you raised $8 million?
8.5.
8.5. So that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of cheddar, right?
You raised, this was basically your first round, right? You went from
we did
a big seed round
to
this. So what do you need $8 million for? That sounds like a lot.
It's a lot, for sure. And, we had a lot of internal conversations of, is this too much? Or is this the right amount right now? And our business, I think, is more complicated than people maybe from the outside think, in the sense that we have an API that almost 1,500 companies are pounding on, where the traffic's 100 times our site visitor traffic. We have a consumer site that's pretty popular, and people coming and checking their Klout scores and wanting to expand that experience. So being able to provide more value to consumers and understanding their scores. And then we're also working with brands doing campaigns and connecting them with influencers. So it's almost 3 different things we have going on. And then here we are, our goal is to be page ranked for the social web. So we're taking a huge amount of Twitter data, a huge amount of Facebook data, a huge amount of LinkedIn data. That's non-trivial from like an engineering perspective, from infrastructure that you need to support that. I mean, we really want to be a layer that scales across the whole social web, and having that kind of funding to get us there, I think is important. And there's going to be one score.
Right.
So, we wanted to be prepared to aggressively go after this, and we've done a good job so far, kind of claiming to be the standard and getting out there, but like we're barely holding on, keeping up with the demand. So having the resources to fully kind of go after this opportunity was critical.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me because I feel like so many companies have, I feel like we have like 5 at Disrupt every time of companies trying to do what you say you're doing. I mean, trying to make sense of who has impact online, making sense of the social web, filtering things, doing all that. And, frequently we don't hear a whole lot out of them. I mean, and I think it was unclear to me whether you guys were sort of in that camp or you really were trying to do something more disruptive. And, I think at least with the funding round, you guys are at least saying, look, we're not going to be a cheap flip.
Yeah.
You're not going to sell for $20 million.
No, those days we kind of passed.
I mean, you made a bit, it's like we talk a lot about entrepreneurs sort of making this choice between something like a $1 million round and maybe 5, but in your case $8 million round of okay, are we going to be content to sell this thing, to build a product that we can then sell, or are we building a big company? And if there's a big difference. You can build something in a year or so and make a lot of money for you and your founders and maybe your angel investor, or you can build a big company and it's going to take 8 years or so.
Right. So I'm certainly not rich, and we had done an angel round, and when I had started this, we thought this had big opportunity, but I thought like that $10 to $20 million exit would have seemed like a very real opportunity, and we had plenty of interest at that stage. But the team, we built an amazing team, and kind of the traction we were seeing and how much passion we had for what we're doing, and the bigger social media got bigger than kind of faster than everyone expected. We're really committed to going for it. We had, really heart-to-heart conversations, with girlfriends and wives and investors and each other around what path are we going down, and we think this is an amazing opportunity. You don't get this kind of opportunity. I couldn't imagine not doing it.